sluggish start on the road. In the 4 games that you guys have had on the road, it seems like you guys have to get out to a sluggish start a bit.
Part of it's the opponent. I mean, we've played a couple top 25 teams. Part of it, you know, when you go on the road, it's loud. We've hurt ourselves with dumb penalties. You know, we've taken a delay a game, which is unacceptable. We've jumped off sides. You do those type of things to get you behind schedule. It's tough to make up, and you know, the momentum of the game then starts to sway. The crowd gets more into it, and it tends to multiply.
The takeaway that was taken away, and that was one in a series of penalties where you want your guys to have their hair on fire, as you said, but maybe in the ref's eyes they were over that edge. Did you see them backing off from that point in some plays where they weren't as aggressive as you wanted them to be?
I don't think so. You know, we're gonna try to get hits on quarterbacks. I mean, we're gonna try to do it within the legal limits of the law. You know, as the official explained it to me, it was not a late hit. He hit him high. You know, we just differed on what that meant. You know, we thought that it was shoulder to shoulder, but.
And his hands have to be up because he's trying to block the pass potentially, right?
Yeah, it's something difficult for the officials to officiate. And you know, the bottom line, they're trying to add more safety to the game, and I agree with that. We're trying to get our players to target lower into the body. I don't think any of our guys are trying to maliciously hurt somebody, but we are trying to get hits on quarterbacks and try to physically separate the ball from players. And you know, occasionally you're going to get penalties. I didn't see, you know, in our league hasn't said anything about our players targeting players. You know, I think you've got to coach aggressively to get takeaways, and we're going to continue to do that.
Well, where are you offensively right now in terms of the pace that you want these guys moving at?
We're not quite as fast as where I'd like to be. Part of the problem is you've got to have productive plays to get that ball down the field, then you're right back up on the ball. If you're throwing the ball 50 yards down the field and it's incomplete, you've got to wait for those guys to run 50 yards back. And so those kinds of things can slow you down. If we're more productive on more downs, obviously you can go quicker, and that's what we've got to, you know, get our offense to do, to be more consistent in producing yardage on first and second down.
What was going on late in the 4th quarter that seemed to, were they just playing prevent, where you guys can move the ball a little bit quicker and things?
No, I think we just got into a rhythm. You know, they were going to keep it in front, but they still ran their same quarters coverage, and they mixed in some pressures and rolled to some closed middle. We just executed better that drive, and I don't know if it was a case of the tempo affecting them a little bit, or it was a case of our guys just relaxing, knowing that we were down 2 scores, and so there wasn't anything to get pressed about. Let's just go run. You know, I liken it a little bit to the second half against Oregon, where you know, we were more effective, and I don't know if it was because it was a couple score difference and maybe a little bit of the pressure was off.
Are you starting to see a particular pattern how teams are trying to defend the spread offense now at this point?
No, I mean, everybody has their own wrinkles of things. You know, Boise's a 4-man front. They mix in some 3-man stuff and, you know, play quarters. They played a little bit more 8-man drop than what we had seen coming in. Before that, CSU was a little bit of, they call themselves 3-4, but we saw a little bit more even front from them until 3rd down. I'm trying to think as we go back here who we played before then. But again,
Tulsa covered the same way as Boise did?
Tulsa's structure is similar. They run a lot of quarters coverage, and they're a 4-2 team. I think the similarities between Tulsa and Boise is both of them have outstanding defensive line. You look at Tulsa's numbers sack-wise, I think they're still up leading the country in sacks. They're getting good pressure on the quarterback. Saturday, you know, I thought Boise State's defensive line controlled the line of scrimmage, both in the run game and in the throw game. And that was probably as big a factor as there was in the game.
Talk a little bit more about Wyoming. You mentioned the last 2 games been kind of tough losses. Feel they come in here and they're kind of getting better as the year goes on?
Yeah, clearly. I mean, they're moving the ball very, very well. You know, they had a 13-point lead, I think is what it was, on Air Force at the half last week with their backup quarterback. They've got some good young players. They've got a center who's outstanding. I like their left tackle. Defensively, as I mentioned, you know, they've taken 2 really good running teams and taken that away from them. And that's what good defenses do. They kind of look at hey, if they're a good running team, let's take that away from them and make them left-handed. I think they're well coached. The last time we played them was 2009. We played them in the New Mexico Bowl. We got a bunch of guys that played in that game that remember losing to Wyoming. So, they're a good football team. They've been able to recruit off of that. They've got tremendous facilities. We realize this is going to be a 4-quarter ball game, or at least we better be ready for it, because they got a team that has gone toe-to-toe on the road. It hadn't slowed them down. Early in this season, they went to Austin, Texas, had a lead on Texas in the second quarter. They're not going to be intimidated by going into a tough environment.
How big will that 12th man be coming off of a 1-1 road trip, essentially, get back in the stadium, get some momentum early with that crowd?
It's going to be huge. You look at statistically what our guys have done in our home games. I think it's a direct reflection. Our guys love playing in Bulldog Stadium and love playing in front of the Red Wave. The atmosphere in the San Diego State game was electric. I mean, that crowd was into it, and our guys were into it because of it. We got football fiesta this weekend. Hopefully, the Hispanic population in this town, which is huge, they feel welcome to come on out to this game. We'd like to celebrate that, and I think they'll have a great time watching the new brand of Bulldog football if they'll come out and support us, and I know our players definitely appreciate it.